Welcome to the Don Pod, the supporters podcast. Here's your hosts, Sam and Nate.
3, 2, 1, yeah!
Welcome back to the Don Pod. I'm joined by Nathan. Hello, Nathan.
Hello, Sam. How are you today?
I'm all the better for seeing you with facial hair again, I'll admit.
Oh, this. Can we not go into that again? Because there were a few comments from the last one I picked up on, and I don't feel that I'm that worthy of being some sort of a conversation.
Evidently, it worked because it's back.
Yeah.
So
It's more of a laziness.
yeah, I
It's very
understand.
like after 10 years of not having a beard to start to maintain facial hair, it gets to you after a few weeks. Like you're like, oh, that's right. This is why I grew a beard in the first place, because it's really boring.
I am very appreciative of your laziness.
Oh, it's the key to my life, laziness.
Yeah, feels. How are you? You're not well, but you're soldering on.
Got a bit of dose of the COVID, my first hit.
First hit in 2024. Look at you go.
No, first hit ever.
Yeah, I know.
First time I've
That's
had
what I mean, though.
it.
In
Yeah,
2024.
Oh,
That's
right. Yeah,
quite
yeah,
incredible.
I've kept away from it.
Never go
so
outside.
far, so it was, it's been a bit ordinary, but soldier.
Good, you are. Right, on the agenda today,
Mm.
we better talk football. We were just talking about retention. We can't waffle on about you for too long.
No.
We're going to look at Essendon and Geelong. We're not going to touch the St Kilda game too much.
Oh, we'll mention it.
You'll mention it because you watched it. I was engaged. What are we going to talk about, Nathan? I've got it there. We're going to chat statistics, obviously. We're going to chat Matt Guelphy. Not with Matt Guelphy. We're going to talk about him because what we're going to say we probably wouldn't say to his face.
Oh,
You
hang
would.
on.
No, you
I
would, you know.
nearly would. Like,
You would.
if I was interviewing him in the next half an hour, say he was coming on, first question would be, what were you thinking
What
in
was
that?
that? Well, let's not
shot?
go there first. Let's not go there
But that
just yet.
would be the question.
Same. We'll talk about Ridley, who has a low-grade strain. That's what I went Gridley. Nick Martin, we're going to talk best 23. We're going to talk socials. So if you commented on our Facebook post today, we're going to have a look at that. In any case, I'm fumbling my way through, so let's get into it.
It's a preseason for all of us, Sam.
Yes, it is
for all of
pre-season
us.
for us too. It's been a while. Essendon 10-11-71 defeated by Geelong 11-17-83. Goal scorers: Langford 3, Gresham Martin 2, Stringer Hind Parrish 1. Very unconvincing one from Parrish, I'll add.
Hey, still counts.
Leading possession disposals: Parrish 34, McGrath 31, Martin 28, and Merritton Setterfield 25. Just before I rip into numbers, can I have your general feel, please?
Well, we weren't flogged by Geelong at Geelong, so
Nice, isn't it?
that's a new feeling. I really don't like Geelong. I want that out on the record. They're probably, and I know you'll find this weird, they're probably my most despised team in the AFL.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
It's all their headbands. I can't handle, just get your fucking hair cut. Or like, seriously, does everyone have to wear a bloody headband? Like, I just can't handle it. I'm old and things like that annoy me. Get a haircut or grow it into a ponytail at least and tie it back. Like, anyway, that annoys me. And I've moved on.
That's your takeaway from the game. There you go. Geelong players.
My takeaway
too
is,
longer hair.
there are some football related takeaways, but geez, that annoys me. My takeaway from the game was that we looked good for patches. We looked better than the St Kilda game. Goldstein might be our number one ruckman, and the back six could still make a decent back six.
Very good. Succinct.
What about yourself?
Yeah, echo Goldie, for sure. He was brilliant in the first half in particular. I think going to Geelong, having been there to watch the women's final last year, beautiful ground. I don't know why they struggle so much. It's a lovely place. The ground, not Geelong in general. We probably should have won, maybe. I know it's not all about results.
No, I don't think we should have won. I think that the injuries that we had and the players that rotated off and
Yes,
and
the
the sort of
rotations are a big thing.
and it looked like we ran out of petrol tickets, and I don't know if that was because of like we'd rotated some people, like we looked like
just
we
stopped giving a shit.
wow, that which
Which
you
is
don't
fine.
like to see.
That's not.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yep.
Pre-season.
Yeah, but I mean, I think what I've taken from I've watched most of the other preseason games this week, and most of them have been about that first half. Like most of the teams are putting their best players out there in the first half, and then the second half they're sort of bringing in the other ruckman or bringing in the other midfielders, and they're throwing some things around. So if we run on that theory, we were pretty good for the first half. Like I think there wouldn't be much in it at a half time. So
we won. Get stuffed Geelong. There you go.
that's how it works now. Yeah, so it was a lot better than the St Kilda game. That's what I would say. So if
Not
we
hard.
can times that by another 0.5% of improvement, or 25%, I should say, then we maybe against Hawthorn, we should beat them, and then we've got some tough games coming up too against some good opposition.
Well, actually, we'll have a look at the Hawthorn game at the end as well, because there's a bit to talk about there and what we think will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right, some numbers for you.
Mm-hmm.
Plus 48 disposals, which equated to 41 kicks, 7 handballs, so a lot. And that was really felt like that was coming out of back half.
That was a lot of the back half,
Yep.
and that was a new strategy you could see. Well, there's a couple of new things I saw, and there was the movement out of the back half, and we'll talk about Nick Martin later on. But there was actually some short kicks in the forward 50 into just somebody at about 40 out, which was so good to see.
Yes, lowering the eyeballs.
Yeah.
It's nice. Minus 8 inside 50s, and venture to say that was a lot second half. Broke even on free kicks. We might be the only team to ever leave Geelong breaking even on free kicks. That's worth noting. Dead level on clearances. Minus 5 centre clearances, which is usually our stronger point.
Well, we're up by a lot, I reckon, in the first quarter and a bit. But then
Goldie effect.
Goldie
and plus 5 then around the ground in stoppage clearances. So I don't know what to take from that, because usually it is centre clearances that we're better at.
Yeah.
And stoppage clearances kind of suck. So
I think if we broke that down further, I think we would see that turned a lot in that second half, especially that last quarter. I thought some of their players, the Geelong midfielders, really ran away from us in that last quarter. And that, again, looked like we'd run out of petrol. Or maybe we threw different players in there. Like I wasn't noting as much who was playing in that last quarter in the midfield. I know Parrish was still getting in there, but I did see Perkins a few times and a few other sort of players that I didn't expect to see in there. So,
well, yeah, and Durham started in there.
Durham played pretty much most of the game in there, I thought.
Interesting.
I think he's in line to be our fourth or fifth big banana in there, like as the midfielder. Like, Parrish, Merritt, Setterfield, and I reckon that Duzza would probably be next in line there. At what I've seen in the first 2 games. He did a lot in the St Kilda games. I didn't see the numbers, but I saw him in there a bit.
Yeah, stats are a bit hard to come by for that, because it wasn't.
And I guess with Dersma onto the other wing and Sardis as the other winger, and with Martin pushing back, that's a natural progression.
Yep. Plus 4 tackles, nothing to talk about there, but we were plus 9 tackles inside 50, which is nice. Bit of pressure holding it in. Forward 50.
We did, again, in that first quarter, we held the ball in a few times.
Yep.
It was good to see.
Plus 33 marks, but that was minus 6 marks inside 50, which was an issue for them. They had a lot of ball inside 50 and a lot of marks. And we spent 80 minutes of the 115 in front, which is again
very
doesn't
much
matter.
like
It's
us.
pre-season, but whatever.
I did note, to add to that point, I reckon there was red time.
Junk
I reckon
time.
we had a couple of goals kicked just against. I know it was just 25-minute quarters or whatever they were. With no play overtime. Not overtime. Time on. I noticed that in the last 2 or 3 minutes of most of those quarters, I felt like they scored or were looking to score pretty easily. Like, again, we just have to work on our defensive capabilities in that sort of that time, because those we saw that in games last year, like the Collingwood games, one screams to us, like we just couldn't defend for a few minutes.
Yeah, it cost you as well.
Yep.
Right, on to the actual agenda. It's not
Game.
trademarked by AFL 360, is it? The agenda. Um,
No.
we wish we were them.
Yeah.
Let's get the really, really stinky conversation out the way early.
Oh, yes.
Matt Guelphy,
Matt Guelphy.
when
You know,
he was
I want
running
to preface this by I've never been a big fan of
You
Matt
haven't.
Guelphy, so I should,
to the
you know,
point
I
where
won't go.
people we used to work with would wind you up about the man.
Yeah. Yep.
I wasn't a part of that. When he was running in and the camera showed him, he was holding it like that, and I thought, he's holding it like a check side. And then he kind of arced out, and I thought, oh, maybe he's just a drop punt, to kick. No, I got one word for it. It's embarrassing. Like, you're an opposition supporter watching that, you're going, what the fuck is going on with this mob?
No, I like it looked like something you might have done at training, and you'd taken the mark, the play was finished, the coaches had all blown their whistles, and everyone was walking off, and you just sort of went, "Oh, just ding," have a little ping, like a little snap,
Little check side. But
little check side.
it's
Not in a practice game, and I was still just practicing. Where that's what it's all about. I want to go back, practice my set shot routine.
Mhm.
What would I do in a real game here? Say it's 3 minutes to go, and I need to kick this goal. Boom.
he was
That's
about
what he would do, and then I'd be like, "No, you mother."
25 metres out, more or less straight in front. It was a pretty slight
Oh.
angle.
There's no angle. Yeah.
I understand the round the corner the other way.
Yep.
That makes sense. That's an easy kick these days.
Yep.
The check side's not an easy kick still.
No.
You've got to hit
It's
the
a
ball
different-
perfectly. If you hit
Yep.
the belly, it'll just float. Hit the outside of your foot too much, and it will do what his did and just go really skinny, sort of.
Yep. And there's a different kicking action too. You're trying to, like, when you're kicking it inside, it's a lot easier than kicking it outside.
Biggest thing, time and a place. Matt,
Yeah.
first name. If I knew your middle name, I'll chuck that in there as well.
I
Just
feel like you'd be like a Matt James Guelphy. Let's go with that.
yeah, all right. It was right at the start too, and I was in a good mood. Thankfully, I would have thrown hands if I wasn't. That was just so unnecessary. And then he did a couple of dumb things. I just went,
Well, my question to you is, with that and how he played the rest of the game, because I thought he did some stupid things throughout the game. Do you think he's the small forward, him along with Gresham?
no. We'll cover it a bit more with the best 23, but Gresham was great. I thought intelligent footballer for the most part.
Yep.
So definitely him. And then I still like Menzies in there as that option. I don't think Guelphy gives us anything. And I've been a defender of him.
Yep.
I
actually don't mind Hind. He played the second
Hind,
half
yes.
as that small forward role.
And that goal Hind kicked, he read that really nicely.
Yep. And I think what he brings also a little bit of like, he can do things you go, what are you thinking? Like bouncing balls and stuff like that.
And falling over them.
Falling over them. But he brings pace, real genuine pace. And I think that can be handy as a defensive asset as well as a attacking asset. So
and the beauty of it is not being a defensive asset is he doesn't really have to stress about the defensive part of the game.
No.
Which we've commented on the fact he runs a lot faster with the ball than without it. So
maybe he'll make a great forward.
Possibly that lack of accountability might actually help the man. I still like Hind as a sub, but
well, he could make a great sub too, because he makes a great sub option because of his forward and defensive capabilities.
Too,
yeah. So he can go back and as well as forward. So yeah, that's a good point.
Let's not spend too much time bashing Guelphy because let's hope that was a one-off. But
we could though.
I was just about to throw in the towel at that point. Just a quick one on Ridley. The AFL posted this morning or yesterday, low grade quad strain. So club will confirm this week what the actual duration of that is. Obviously 2 weeks today or 2 weeks yesterday being Sunday today.
Saturday we play next.
We play on Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
For 2 weeks, maybe if it's low grade, you get away with that. Quad's a shit one. Quad's normally 4.
Quad's not good.
But low grade. So fingers crossed because it was nice. It was a pretty settled back six, which is a nice segue. My favourite thing in the world. Into the back six. So I got to say, I pretty much got what I wanted from the outset. And that was Mackay, Reid, McGrath, Ridley,
yeah.
Redmond,
Redmond.
and someone else. Mardo. Well, I don't know about Mardo still. I'm a bit unsure about that. But in terms of the big three being Mackay, Reid, Ridley, that's what I wanted to see because Ridley is a very good footballer and can be very damaging. And he hasn't played the third tall, I don't think, for a long time.
For a few
And if
years,
he has, it's been with Laverde next to him, who we'll just mention quickly had an absolute feckin' stinker when he came on too.
Oh, that drop mark was horrible. Right.
But I was pretty happy, and the inside 50 domination that they had really came second half.
Yep.
I remember
I agree
Reid got outmarked by Hawkins, and I don't care. Hawkins is a big dude. Like, I'm okay with a one-on-one and him getting beaten, and it was once. Mackay, I felt like, was not in a lot of contests that I thought he would be in. And he played 90% game time, so I'm not quite sure if that was just a bit of self-preservation. Again, fine. I'm okay with that. But, yeah, a couple of times I went, where's Mackay?
I still think my theory there is that between Mackay and Reid, that they're working out how to play with each other. They've now played 2 practice games, like St Kilda and this Geelong game with each other.
Yep. And you think too, like Heppel, Laverde or Kelly would have played the majority of last year.
Yeah.
So apart from the fact Reid's basically brand new in the 6, Mackay is brand new in the 6.
And Martin.
And Marta. You've got a pretty new mix. So yeah, that's a valid point. I'm okay with that.
Yes, yeah. And Ridley, well, I missed a few games. So Ridley and Reid and Mackay have never haven't played a lot of footy together. So what's disappointing about the Ridley injury for me is that I would have really loved to see those guys just play this year together, 24, 23 games, whatever it is, and really just get some, real feel about each other and how to work around each other and who's up for the contest, who's, the third one up and all that sort of stuff that will come with time. Like there'll be moments this year where they'll get caught out. One will be in the wrong spot and,
okay.
Because they're still working each other.
Even more so because Reid's still a kid.
Yeah.
That's okay.
But the point I will finish with is that from the bits I saw in Reid, especially in that second half, when he sort of started to get a bit more comfortable, took some good marks, his kicking's obviously very decent, maybe even, above that, then, you start to really see some potential in that group. So I was very excited. And the other one I'll throw in there as a little, I'm interested to see. So with Ridley possibly not playing round 1, I think that's probably a fair statement to make. I don't think they'll rush him back. Would Cox be the guy you would play?
So, good question. He played 86.
That's what I'm here for, Sam. That's why I'm paid the big bucks.
Yeah, affection. What did he play? Apologies. 86% game time. 71 metres gained, which I find fascinating, but from 12 disposals. But he didn't do a lot. But he did a couple of things second half where I went... One thing in particular, it was sort of half forward down the new stand end where he just threw his body across or something. He went to... I don't know. He did something good. And I went, hey, that was smart. You actually
I thought the same...
impacted the contest. He seemed stronger. He seemed able to hold his ground a lot more. He still looks like Beavis and Butthead, but... That's all right.
It does look still. I thought the same thing. I thought there were moments in that second half. I didn't see much of him in the first half, and again, I haven't looked at the data to see how much he played. But in that second half, there are a few little things he did, and I went, okay, I see it now. I see why they're trialing him in that halfback role. Like he's, good height, needs to put on a bit of frame, but he's, runs all day. His kicking's funny, but okay.
Take you back to his first game against St Kilda where he went to kick it, sold the dummy, and then absolutely bulleted a pass.
Yep.
This was like 3 years ago. Living in the past a little bit, but he's got something there.
He's got to,
And again,
he's got to get that confidence probably back.
Preseason, perfect time to do it. Mess around with it, chuck him down back, do whatever. It was, he didn't have a brilliant game by any stretch, but just, a couple of nice moments, a couple of nice things. I was really excited by Reid.
I was very excited.
I have stood next to Sam Draper, and he did not give me any wow factor whatsoever, apart from the beauty of the man. Zach Reid is just a fucking monster. I can't describe it. If you've stood next to him, you'll understand.
That guy, I think it was Neil, he was playing on a bit. He was a big mofo too.
He's a big dude,
He had some serious guns about him too. Like he had some length and guns. Like
I don't think I've ever heard you say mofo. That's new.
Oh, I didn't want to say motherfucker, did I?
Well, you just did. Get the senses out. What did you make of another great segue? Nick Martin, 1, and then 2, which is a bit of a separate conversation, I think, the movement off the back half.
Well, Nick Martin, they obviously tried to go to him a lot, and they did that again in the St Kilda game. Like they were looking for him, and they're looking like that's again. It's this new thing that we're trying. I watched most of the games. St Kilda trying to do that with Malira. You know, North Melbourne in the game today doing that with Sheasel. Collingwood have done that with Dacos. You know, like it's a thing that clubs are now doing as that running halfback, almost non-defender, because you know that's kind of what they are. Where they're trying to set the play up that way. Yeah, like he's very good at it. There's no doubt about that because of his vision of the game, his skill set, the way he moves. So the thing it does worry me a little bit is that then there's a defensive aspect of someone's got to get back and cover another player, and we have not defended well. Like I'd be more than happy with it if we were like St Kilda under Ross Lyon because you're like, we're already the team defense is very good.
Nicely defense, yeah.
Yeah, but the fact that we have never really defended well makes me a bit more nervous. But
the
I
interesting,
understand why we're doing it.
Keep hiding behind my microphone. The interesting thing will be what the effect or flow-on effect that has on Redmond, because Redmond was the goal-kicking halfback. If you were, thrown around, but maybe more so from a set play in that situation.
Yep.
Cox played halfback and kicked 2 goals. So you go, well...
Martin, you mean? Played halfback, kicked 2 goals.
Yes, sorry. Who did I say?
Cox. You said Cox. That's all right.
Cox is right below Martin on my screen. Yeah, 28 touches, 2 goals. Like, that's fine. That's a very effective game. But if all of a sudden then you have Redmond playing too high, then yes, all those defensive issues creep back in.
Oh,
I will
I
say,
think this is,
from
you keep going.
From that movement, we went coast to coast more in that first half than I reckon we went in any other game in the second half of last year.
And it was safer coast to coast in that it wasn't like there was we found short options in the back 60 sort of area.
Diagonals.
Yeah. And then we opened it up and ran. So
and if it was a dump kick, it was to the wing. You weren't dump kicking it to half forward or half back.
No. So I think there's positives. And as we stated earlier, and this is the second time they've tried like with the Martin and Mackay and Reed and so we're gonna get burnt on it, and we'll play good opposition like Sydney and St Kilda in the first few weeks, and they will make us look a bit silly. I'm pretty sure, but maybe, and this is the hope and prayer that by the end of the year we're starting to see that really working, and the defense is a bit better, and attacking and defending they find that balance because you don't want to be doing one or the other too much.
And I think that's a really critical thing to understand as supporters. Is appreciate what's trying to be done.
Yep.
Appreciate the fact that we're going to play better opposition than us because we are obviously far from being the best team in the competition.
Yeah.
So just try to understand what they're trying to achieve and go, okay, I can see that he was trying to do that kick. There was a couple, 2 examples I'll give you. I don't remember who it was, but there was a couple where we kicked out from fullback basically to a little short sharp kick to the pocket, and it got intercepted. And it was their little small forward. Australian from a couple of years ago. No, the other guy.
Stengel.
Stengel
from Adelaide. Yeah, Stengel. Yep.
Who just gut ran really quick and intercepted, and I went fine. All right, like fair enough. He's read that really well, and he's quick enough to get there and take the mark with one hand. Whatever. Yeah. The one I'm not so happy with, and it was Dersma, who just had options and just chucked it on the boot to the top of the 50, dead centre. And I went,
he nearly kicked it into Parrish. Like he had Parrish and I think McGrath right next to him.
That was Tom
He
Stewart.
could have shoved it off handballs and ran the ball out, but he just packed his dacks and kicked it.
Very easily could have got a nice handy bounce that would have bounced straight over Tom Stewart's head, and we would have been away.
Of course.
But it was never the option. That's where I'm like, well, you've got to be better.
You don't rely on luck for the game.
But when you're trying to hit a target like that and it just gets intercepted by good play, you go, fair enough, fine.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Coast to coast was exciting. There was a couple of times where we really nice ball movement, hit targets. Parrish get the ball in the middle, blind turn, Just
Mm,
but the problem was finishing our dinner. We couldn't really finish the other end generally.
Shall you and I mention something about Parish?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with
Just
that
for
at
the
the moment.
listeners, we will be a little bit what's the word?
Hockey?
No, no more very positive about
Oh,
Parish
right. Well, yeah.
because both Sam and I, and not knowing the other one did it, I don't think. We have put a little bit of a wager
Mm.
on Parish to win the Brownlow.
Mm.
I just think that he's a guy that gets votes.
Mm.
He's had a really good preseason. I think he's a good shot to be in that top sort of echelon of players this year.
34 touches and a goal from 3/4 game
Well,
time.
as I've said to you, if he starts kicking goals in games, then he cannot not get votes. That doesn't make sense, does it?
Not. He has to get votes. There you go.
Yeah, thanks.
Not confuse the poor people.
Shall we
out
talk about our forward six?
there. Yes, I think it's worth a conversation.
Couple frustrated you?
Can I just ask you quickly, because we were talking about Reed Mackay so much? Sorry, Dersma. What do you make of Dersma?
He looked scratchy. He looked like he did some couple of good things. Got a lot of footy, 20 odd touches. Was it something like that?
He's better second half. I thought
Yeah,
he was
he
a
just
bit
looks like a guy who hasn't played a lot of footy.
panicky.
He panicked a few times, like that one we were just talking about. If he plays every game to about the bye round, then I think we'll see a better second half of the year from him than the first half.
Positionally, it was good. It was in the right spots.
Yep.
I did comment at one point that I thought he might become a whipping boy because some of his disposals were just a bit like, what the hell was that?
But he hasn't had a lot of
I hope
preseason.
not. I'm
run.
not suggesting that's going to happen. I'm not suggesting I'm
No.
going to jump on that. I just don't know what Essendon supporters are like. And,
I know.
Brent Stanton will attest that.
We've got Guelphy for that.
Yeah, true. Don Pot does anyway.
I do.
The reason I wanted to ask that first is because my next point here is best 23. So we can talk about our our forward six in that conversation.
Yep.
I will start off with my boy if I can, just because Peter
Your boy
Wright-
was a little bit ordinary.
Yeah, he's my boy too. Well, he's our boy, I think, because we called it together.
Yeah,
I'm still
we'll have to
claiming
go
him,
with
what it
that,
is.
yeah.
Very good positional sort of stuff. Gets in the right spots. Nice big tall man. Obviously, he's 2 meters tall. In case you weren't aware. Can't take a mark. It just hits his hands and goes to ground. And it was an issue. He came back against Carlton last season and kicked 5, I think.
Yep.
And then it just sort of crept in. He just
And then after that, he couldn't mark the ball.
first hands 90% of the time, but just can't mark the friggin' thing. He's in the best front six though. He's obviously playing.
He helps us so much structurally. He
Yes.
gives us that big target, and he helps with Langford and Stringer and those guys.
Yes. Speaking of Langford's a no-brainer. We can just say that and move on.
Can I quickly ask then? What did you think of him going into the ruck?
Not a fan. I think pre-season the plan would have been Goldie for a bit, Brian for a bit, and not at the same time. I think round one, assuming Draper's not fit, I'm going on that train of thought.
Yep.
It's Goldie and Brian, and then Pete doesn't have to play ruck. There's no need for that to happen.
Yep. Will we make the assumption that last year Scott liked to play 2 ruckmen, and we'll do that again?
I don't think we had a game where we didn't have 2 ruckmen.
That's right. Well, it was always
It was Draper, and Phillips, or Draper and
Brian. Or Brian and Phillips when Draper was injured. Yeah. So
I think that's what we're going to keep seeing. I don't like
quick question then. Even when Wright was playing, they still played 2 ruck, didn't they?
Yeah. I don't like. I'll just tell you that when you cough, it cuts out anyway, so you're okay. Don't stress.
Okay. Fine.
I forgot what I was going to say. I've never liked the big forward going into the ruck, and the only exception to that was Danaher, because he was so mobile, he became just an extra mid.
I
got
don't like
him
the
into
ruckman
games as well.
in the centre bounce, like when the knees clash. I don't mind them doing around the ground stuff when you just sort of pushing and shoving. I don't like the knees clashing shit that they have to deal with.
I just don't think it's worth it. I
honestly don't think he's very good at it, if I'm honest.
No.
He's okay.
I wouldn't either. If I'm a big, tall forward, I'm not going to give my best in the ruck because I want to stay in the friggin' forward 50. Get
shit
stuff,
job.
Yeah. I rucked once. I got need in the eyeball.
I still think though, in the perfect world, look, I really rate Bryant. I want that to be stated early. But Goldstein and Draper, if one's forward, one's rucking, or one's benching and one's rucking, like whatever.
Let's not digress too much into midfield. Just I know where you're
No,
going
no,
with
but
this.
I just think that's a really good combination.
Yes.
Personally.
Yeah.
Mm.
So we got it's going to be Wright and Langford, obviously.
Oh, the ones that pick themselves are we talking here?
Well, yeah, they're the two that are automatic straight away.
I would at the moment say Gresham
Gresh as well.
Yeah.
I'm still not really 100% sure on Stringer. I know you're different
I'm
views
100%
on this.
on him. Yep.
I think
he brings things. He has abilities that none of those other guys you've mentioned has. He's the guy that kicks it from the boundary, like from 45 out on his wrong foot, looking the wrong way, standing on one hand. Like he's the guy that, yeah, that's the sort of thing. He's the guy that can do the stuff or drag a team in a quarter. With
he
3
is a
goals.
moments player. I fully support that. He has always been a moments player.
Whereas Wright and Langford are just tick over the boxes, do a job. Beautiful players.
Langers was very good for what I saw of him too.
Yep. And Lang's very revolutionary as a forward. He's found himself a position that I didn't think he could do, and he's now best. He's one of the first pick.
Yep. Correct. Yeah. Stringer. I feel like he's lost a little bit of pace. He's not quite as bully. I don't know. I'd be happy to be proven wrong. Obviously, I love the man.
Who do you pick in front of him? Tell me that. No, you don't pick a kid that has not yet played a game with men.
I know.
You don't pick him. I all the potential I believe in Caddy. I think he's going to be a very good football player, but he has to play a game with grown men first, not under 18 kids like he has been.
Got so many of my hopes and dreams pinned on that kid. And I'm going to talk to him about it on Tuesday when I go to my first little player sponsor event. By the way, drop that in there.
And I think Caddy has to play VFL in the first round.
Given he's missed
he hasn't played a game. Yeah. Like you can't just Jones. I don't think Jones has been great. I think Jones has always been ordinary. But
that's a little note I do have there is that I would fully hope that Jones and Sardis play VFL round 1. I don't think either of them.
Sardis, I'm not. Yeah.
Sardis had a better second half. He ended up with a fair bit of footy, 24, I think. Yeah, 24 touches.
88 fantasy points.
But I just thought he was a little bit green, and that's okay. Again, he's a kid. I'm not suggesting he's no good. Yeah. I'm just saying maybe VFL is the go, and I'm more confident on that with Harry Jones. I'm still not seeing the contests that I want to see, the commitment to jumping and taking marks. The goal that Hind kicked very late on.
Yep.
Jones went up with one arm,
He did a few
and
times.
missed the ball completely.
And he got the ball, got it down. Technically,
it was a great read from Hind, but I
see. I'm different on Sardis. I think that he's in the team for me because he's a second-year player. He played those games at the other half, back end of last year, and he's done a full preseason. He needs to now play with the big boys and, just play the game and get experience at that level. I think he's too good for VFL, but he's and I agree, he's not best 22 easy picked, but he needs to come into that 22, 23, and we find out what we get because he's a top 4 or 5 pick, whatever he was when we picked him. So if he's playing VFL for a few weeks, I'm like, well, we've up that.
No, he's a second year player. That's okay.
He's a second year first round. He's a first 6 pick.
I know. If he's playing round 1, I'm not upset by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not going to be writing strongly worded letters or anything of the sort. I'm just thinking they're both. Jones is getting on my nerves because I think we've had you on the list for a long time, Harold. And
he'd be like 5th year, I reckon, for Jones, wouldn't it?
Don't Google his age because it's wrong.
No, I wasn't going to.
Google has him at 25.
I was going to look at our spreadsheet.
Yeah, it's actually good. We have a spreadsheet now.
Yeah, we just put all those people at home. Yep. We worked on a spreadsheet in the preseason.
We have so many things. We have an intro. I was meant to talk about that earlier.
Yeah, we should.
Meant to open with that. Let's not. We'll go back to it.
He's 23.
Yes, 23. I'm more patient with the big guys, but just get on with it, will you?
Well, look, I think the thing that I will find interesting is that if you don't pick I don't think you should pick Caddy. If you don't pick Jones and you don't pick Caddy, then it's Wright and Langford, and that's it. Like
Stringer.
then you're picking Draper or Bryant as a forward. So I think the thing about Jones is that although I don't think he's structurally he's important to have in the team because he does get up the ground. He doesn't mark it enough, but he just does a role, and you're hoping something will click with him and he'll then be.
Sorry. Am I right in saying that Jones played round 1 last year?
Ooh, that's a really good question.
I'm nearly there. Can I just point out to you as well that Stringer and Caddy are the same height.
Yeah,
they're 193.
Yeah,
you said about not picking Caddy, but you didn't mention not picking Stringer. I'm just making sure that you.
Yeah, but again, are you going to the fact that one's played 200 games?
No,
one hasn't yet.
You just seem to suggest that Caddy was a tall, but he's only 193. That's
Caddy
all I'm saying.
Plays as a tall.
Yeah.
Caddy plays as a tall. He's got arms that are apparently longer than his whole body.
So Jones did play last year in round 1 against Hawthorn. 12 touches and a goal. 6 marks. So that's your baseline. I mean,
well, if he can do that again, then he's probably going to have a decent game against Hawthorn.
Yep. Let's talk middle six for a little bit. We sort of touched on our small forwards earlier, so we'll leave that one there. I am amazed at Todd Goldstein.
307 years old he is.
He is old, and I know like Draper gets first hand on a lot of ruck contests. Brian does it a bit better, but watching Goldstein like so deliberately just tap it to a midfielder.
He nearly grabs the ball out of the ruck and goes,
Darcy.
"Here, Darcy Parish, have the ball. Go do something with it. See what you can do." Oh, there you go, everyone. Bye.
I'm amazed. Obviously, he's had a lot of respect over his whole career because he's not antagonistic at all. I hate North.
I love that he used to back for Essendon too.
Yes, his old man was an Essendon supporter. He talked about that. He did miss a goal after the siren. I think was that him went to beat us once. He's 36 in July. And
what do you think of his comment about North Melbourne?
Like a gazelle. Yeah, it was a bit barbed, wasn't it? Yeah, the commentary pointed that out too. It was a little bit
yeah, a bit of a dig. Don't mind that.
Yeah, real dig.
Well, somewhere I think he said where he'd be respected or not respected. What was the word he used?
Don't know.
Yeah, anyway.
Probably should bring things up if you don't know them.
Sorry. This is for the listeners at home that know the word he used. I was really impressed with him. I was impressed with him in the St Kilda game, to be honest. And I'm like, geez, him and Draper or him and Brian. I think you take your time with Draper. I know he played in the VFL game with Geelong, but you just take your time with him. He should probably play a VFL game maybe just to make sure the body's fine and then come back in the second week because he's had a pretty big layoff. I don't think he did a lot of the preseason.
And it's one of those injuries that you can
be
cautious with and no one will,
that's and you've got cover right now. Like with Ridley, the difference there is that he's really valuable and we don't have that. Like it's not like we've got another player he's as good as Riddles that'll just come in and do the job. Whereas like Ridley, you're sort of rushing back because you need him.
Slaverde's the alternate,
Yeah. Whereas at the moment, you're like, well, geez, Goldie's nearly better, at the moment. So you're like, just take your time with Draper.
Yeah, we've got option. And I don't think we need to expect 20 games from Goldstein. But yeah, it gives you that option to say, Rhino Drapes, we're going to get you 99.9% rather than 90%.
Yep.
And then we'll think about who's going to play. I reckon at 36, Goldie might need a break every now and then. That's okay.
Well, last year with Phillips, I reckon he would play like 5 or 6 games in a row, and then they'd rest him or something like that. He didn't, he had those little breaks, and he was 33 or 4. I reckon.
He wasn't as old, but,
but
he retired young, in my humble opinion. He's only 31 or 32.
Yep.
On the midfield themselves, Setterfield and Parish 6 clearances each. I really like Setterfield in that middle. I think he's a defensive midfielder. Just the 4 tackles, but Durham was game high with 7, and then it was down to Stringer with 4. So he was second for the team anyway. Defensive midfielder, and with Goldstein rucking, just gorgeous.
And he was very good on the bigger. Those Geelong, at different stages they threw in well, Dangerfield, who's not a big, but he's muscular
He's
wise.
solid.
And the
yeah.
other one is Blitzlav. Blitzcar? Blitz?
I still don't know. I'm not
I
gonna
don't know.
look
Still don't know how to say his name. He came into the midfield a few
Mark.
times, and you could
Call him.
Mark B. He he came in a few times, and I saw Setterfield sort of stand next to him, and still looking up to him, go, "Hey, big unit."
It is good. It is nice because that's exactly what we wanted from Setterfield.
Yeah,
The big body
like with the
mid
Crips
to
when you
be-
played, like the Crips against Carlton. Like who
Okay.
else when you know those bigger midfielders that we've always struggled with, like really struggled.
Yeah.
That he gives that really, and he looks fit and he looks capable. So very excited.
I commented to a friend in the first half that Zach Merritt's gotten better. I don't know how that's possible. He was
ragtag in a couple of, like, his tackles were really
Yeah.
nasty at the start. Like, he had a real sort of purpose. I thought, oh, he's a bit narky.
I just love him. Like his
He's
competitive,
kicking is
his competitive nature though. He chases down, he tackles. And if he tackles, he fucking tackles.
Yep. No.
I
love his kicking action. It's just this beautiful efficient little onto the foot, and it's like
maybe the best pick
beautiful to
26
watch.
ever. Let me just throw that out there.
No, that's a great.
I don't
that's a
think
great
anyone's
debate
going to correct me because who cares
Not
about
who
a pick
listens to this,
26?
you wouldn't imagine.
Yeah. Who cares about pick 26, right?
No, he was looking very good. Parrish, as we've already said, looked really, really good.
Really good.
Caldwell,
Caldwell was a
Ryan,
bit green. I thought he was a bit funny.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
But he did, what was it? He did make one horrible kick that went out of bounds. Like, almost fell over and kicked it on the wing. I don't know what happened.
You know what I liked about that?
Message between the brain and the hand did not work.
Do you know what I really liked about that? He had a giggle.
Yeah.
Good.
Practice match.
But laugh it off.
Yeah. It was probably lucky too. There was no crowd in that spot where he was, because he would have got a bit of a barreling.
This is a really, really strange throwback. Anzac Day last year, Maynard kicking it in from a point, just absolutely grubbed it, and it went straight along the ground to Wiedemann. I think he kicked a goal.
Yep.
And they all went up to him and just gave him a pat on the back and had a chuckle. And like you think about what Collingwood did last year and how much they just embraced everything and had a great time while they did it. It's fine. You just get on with it. So yeah.
And Stuz in there in that midfield role.
Yes, 7 tackles for Stuz. I still think I prefer him as a winger. I don't like that. I don't think it's necessary for him to be in the middle, really. But it's options. That's great to have. Were we missing anyone out of that middle? Who was the outs? The notable outs?
Hobbs obviously is the clear
yes.
one for me. Then I guess we could say Shield, but I don't see a world.
He was fit. He got interviewed at halftime. He seemed like he was okay to play.
I don't see a world where he plays. I just don't. Whose spot is he taking?
Oh, I don't know. And there's
Stardust, if anything.
A never-ending conversation about that those midfielders because there's so many of them.
Yep.
Can I just throw back a little bit? We should have talked about McGrath with the back six and how much he so intently wanted to run and clear the lines.
Yep, good point.
Kicking looked better, but he really, really worked his ass off to run and break the lines off halfback, which was...
His kicking looked better until about I think it was the fourth quarter. He was streaming out of the back. Did you see the kick I'm talking about? And it just went, I reckon, 30 metres out of bounds on the full, and he kicked it from inside the square nearly. Like, I'm like, big kick. He's missed a target by a lot.
It's the fourth quarter preseason. They got some.
Oh no, I was a little bit. You
one
are
pick,
one of the worst fucking number one picks going around, mate.
Can I just say to that though, that the 2016 draft wasn't brilliant. The option was Taranto, and I'm fairly certain he was an academy pick. So,
and it shits me because though you look at North Melbourne those last couple of years being rubbish, they have been, and they picked up a guy like Sheasel and the Wardlaw, and like, and you think, fucking hell,
they're gonna.
Sheasel's won best and fairest in his first year.
Did he? Was it rumored or official that he was signing on to 2030?
Yeah, apparently.
We call that the Horn Francis effect.
That's a big sign.
I wonder if Horn Francis gets a cut out of that. The only reason they're giving him a 6-year deal. Fair enough. I think that's...
He can still leave, apparently. He can still leave North Melbourne after a year or two.
Get a trade,
Yep.
That's probably enough on the 23, I think.
Mm-hmm.
How can I just mention, actually, Nick Hind. The goal he kicked was nice, little read. we talk about the dummy, the fake, where
Oh,
he
beautiful.
sent Dangerfield of all people to the absolute
Yeah,
shops.
that was an absolute doozy.
That's hot.
And
I
then
looked away.
like Dangerfield could have smelled his breath, like they were that close. Like, you know, like he really like just sold it to him.
Do you think Danger's got on one too many?
Yes.
He's a
If
powerful
I was
runner,
honest,
but
the commentators talked about him still like he got tackled a few times, I thought, and ran down. I think somebody ran him, or Merritt ran him down at one stage. And then somebody else just trumped him in a tackle, and I went, like
33.
33, but he's a power game. Like he's played a
34
lot of hard football. He has to play as a half. Like I'm fascinated by Geelong. Like they played Stanley. If I could just jump off Essendon for a second,
Yeah.
they played Stanley in the ruck for the full game. I'm like, well, he's 34. Like, is that your ruck? I know we've got Goldstein, but we're not looking
We're
like
covering
Goldstein's not
two
coming in to win a
younger
premiership.
guys. though.
Yeah, Goldstein's not coming in to win a premiership. Goldstein's just trying to hold us together.
Hmm.
They're Geelong. I think they still think they can win a flag, and they're still like playing these guys like. I don't
They're
know,
good,
like,
and they're better at Geelong because of the
Oh, yeah.
ground, for sure.
Yep.
Jeremy
But-
Cameron will still kick 60 plus, for sure.
Yep.
I don't know about Hawkins. He normally destroys us and didn't seem quite as threatening. And again, preseason.
No, but
caveat
preseason
all
he
of this.
probably doesn't care. He's about 52.
I love Tomahawk. I think he's so
Oh, it's been one of the great full forwards
so
of
strong
our time.
and
Yeah.
just
Beautiful
yeah.
kicking action.
Yeah,
Nice
yes,
bloke. Seems like
and-
a genuinely nice bloke.
I appreciate the set shots, as you know. That's why my man is Peter, right? Because big forwards.
Yep,
I'm
I
hurt by
know.
Danaher for all those years.
Yep.
Yeah, Holmes was very good for them. Was on track for a kilometre gain. Must have taken him off. But yeah, we've said this for years, and they do generally keep on keeping on. So
Yep. Shall we jump ahead and have a chat about who we play in that first round in a couple of weeks?
I think we should, and I'll preface it with I feel sorry for Hawthorn. I think pre-season you want to be up and about, looking at your young players, going, "We're on." You know,
I'll be honest.
I don't know
watched
what
them.
their expectations would be, but
Did you watch them against the Bulldogs last night?
no, I know they got pretty badly beaten.
But for the first half, they nearly had them. Like,
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
yeah, they played some pretty good football for going to say a quarter and a half. I thought. Now I don't know what changed. I don't know if the Dogs just went, all right, that's enough. The Bont sort of started trying at about that stage, and he went on to get a lot of possessions and kick a few goal, maybe two. I'm not sure. So maybe that was it. But I thought their Reed, their ruckman, Rees, I'm not sure. He was pretty good. Their back six was
Ned
okay.
Reeves is who you think
Yeah,
of.
Reed, yeah. Their back six was pretty good, and I was a bit worried about their bloody. I'll tell you who's going to kick 4 or 5 against us. I'll give you $100. Is Ginnivan.
Oh, yeah.
He must kick 3 or 4 in that. He had 2 or 3. He probably kicked 2 goals, 2 I reckon by half time, and should have kicked the other ones. He's wearing shorts that are about 18 sizes too big, and a long sleeve jumper down in Tassie.
Eddie Betts.
But he will kick 4 against us. I can guarantee it.
So, Doggies, to be fair, Dogs were 2 goals 12 at half time.
Yeah, but
And then
But
kicked 8.
they kicked. I reckon. Yeah,
And
they
then
kicked
7.
those. What was the first quarter scores?
2-1 to 2-6.
Yeah, look, I just thought. I don't think Hawthorn looked horrible. Whereas I watched Gold Coast, they looked disgusting.
Yes.
I watched.
Look at you watching other teams play.
I watched them all this week because I like to sort of get a bit of who else I thought was West Coast. Oh my God, putrid! Like absolutely, they will not even get close to winning a game this year. West Coast, not even close. Their ruckman, who did not want to ruck, like, which just was so ordinary. Oh God, they looked bad. I feel sorry for that Harley Reid. Harley Reid, he just looks. For the first couple of years, he's just going to get flogged every week. That kid.
Back just on Hawthorn,
Sorry.
because I had a
Yeah.
point.
Got a little bit
Injuries.
lost sidetrack there.
You did. That's okay. We love you. Injuries galore at Hawthorn. They've lost key defenders, midfielders
Yep.
for days. The one that worries me there still is John Newcomb, who
Yep. Duke.
gets a lot of football and
He
uses
played
it
very well.
quite well. 37 touches against the Dogs yesterday, 7 clearances. Contender for best mid-season draft pick. I
Oh,
think,
yeah,
I
up
think
there
he
with
is,
Martin.
to be honest. Oh, no, Martin was supplemental.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
I think we will go in favourites. I don't think
I would
that's
like to
too
think so,
much
yeah.
of a stretch to say. I think we need to be weary of them. Sure.
I'd probably be wary of them.
That's exactly what I just said. You just changed the syllable. That's all you did.
It'd be interesting to see if that McGuinness, I think it is, if he tags, plays one, if he plays, and goes to like Merit or Parish as a tagging role. I don't see that much of a point in that if you're going to get flogged, but he's done that before to players. He likes to come in and tag, so interesting to see if they do that, or they might even send him to Nick Martin.
It is a home game. Well, they did that. Sorry, too many thoughts at once. It is a home game for us, so
That's good.
nice big crowd. It wasn't last year's. I don't know what my point there was. When Hawthorn beat Collingwood towards the end of last year, they were really rough and tumble on Dacos.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about Mardo playing that kind of role, then yes, that wouldn't necessarily surprise me.
Yep.
What I was going to say, home game, so I'll be there. You live too far away these days.
Yep. I'm going to be in
Ginnivan
Queensland.
Can really ruin my year in round one.
Oh, he will. I'm telling you, he's the biggest threat.
I can't
He'll
stand
kick six
the
against
smug
us.
little rat.
He'll get free kicks for over the ducking his head and throwing his head back. And
At least it won't be Anzac Day.
I assume McGrath will play on him, and
Yeah.
McGrath better be on his best behaviour.
What we should do-
hard tagging the motherfucker.
Bring Jake Kelly in, run through him in the first quarter, sub Jake Kelly out.
Not worth it. It was interesting too, just on that he wasn't picked or anywhere in our 22.
I was going to touch on that before, yeah.
Well, and the other one we should probably touch on that too is Heppel.
So my thing has always been Heppel, Laverde, Kelly, one of them.
Yep.
We had 0 of them.
Well, again,
And
if
I'm
we look at
okay.
that first half as the team that they're sort of looking to play round one, obviously with Ridley now, that they'll make an adjustment there, and that'll be either Laverde or Cox or someone like that. Maybe even Kelly. I don't know who they want to go with there, but that'll be interesting. The thing that I did like about that was that I like that back 6/7. I think that's a good back 6/7. With the 3 genuine talls. And Ridley, who I still think I class as a tall, and Reed and Mackay. They're really, really good. And then you've got some good lockdowns in McGrath, Redmond, and then you got a bit of ball carrying skill in Martin, and then you sort of.
And I'll ask you one more question before we move on to some socials. Carlton, did you watch that game?
Yeah.
Are they as underwhelming as that scoreline suggests?
Yeah, they. Well, they're still short. Like Welsh is not playing. Or Walsh, sorry. I'm not sure what he seems like he might play round one, but if they're pushing for round one, you wouldn't say he's got his back problems back again. So that's concerning for them. I'm sure they'll be a good team. I still wonder like how much last year of them nearly making a grand final was just form at that end of the year. Like you just got on a run, you believed in yourself, everything. Like that's what happens in footy, I think. Or how much of that is just system. Like at the start of the year, they were nearly sacking a coach, like system and players.
Well, after they lost to us, they genuinely almost were.
Yeah, and I still don't know. Don't know. I think what I saw in the preseason, again, it's a preseason, so I don't know, was like they look like that first half of the year team, but
preseason.
Who knows? Like, who's their first? They play Richmond in the first round.
Yes, so that's a good shout because that's every year.
Stupid round 0. Do we need to talk about
Garbage. Yep. Then
AFL.
They have a bye round 2.
Round 2 a bye.
Then North. And Freo. Yeah. Interesting. I'm curious on them because I had a lot of respect for what they did.
Oh,
to turn
around. And they've still got guns. Like their forwards and quality players. They've introduced, Orazio Fantasia has gone there, and he looked pretty good in the first sort of quarter and a bit. They've got good. Wiedemann, he's not playing; he's injured, so they're missing another good player there.
You mean Wiedering?
Wiedering. What did I say?
Wiedemann plays for us.
Yeah.
I'd have
Their
Whitman.
ruckman, I
We can
thought,
trade.
who did they played Melbourne, didn't they,
Yeah,
in that
Gawn.
game? Yeah, Gorn absolutely destroyed Pinanwet or Pinanwet, whatever his name is. He made him look like a fool.
Yeah, Gawney's quite good as well.
Gorney, if you're in fantasy football, if you haven't got Gorn, you're doing it wrong. He's going to dominate this year.
Class.
Mm.
Shall we do some socials?
Yes, let's.
Now, a bit of a change for 2024. We're going to do this a bit more often. And we're also going to invite someone from the socials posts on Facebook, specifically here, to do votes on the game. So our Don Pod BNF will be 3 lots of 3 votes rather than me and Nathan basically just agreeing every single week.
Pick and stringer.
Wanker.
And Merritt and Parrott.
Yeah.
Because we're going to pick Parrish, because if he doesn't win our best and fairest, then
How the hell's he going to win the Brownlow? Yeah. We are the form guide.
Yep.
Actually, we should have compared. I should have compared our votes versus Brownlow. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'll read through a couple. There's a few there I won't get to, but that's all right. Rocky Harwood. The question I'm posing here, by the way, is what do you expect for 2024 for us?
Oh, yes. Yeah. It's good to put that out there.
Key concept there. Yeah. Start of the year a bit slowly while the team is gelling. Everything clicks on Anzac Day and we beat the Pies by 6 goals. That would be lid off kind of scenarios.
Yep. I love that. I was fully supportive.
I didn't read this whole comment, by the way. I'm reading this for the first time.
Oh, God.
After this, we go berserk as a team and only lose 2 more games for the year, finishing the home and away season 16-7, second on the ladder behind Brisbane. The supporter base in greater AFL industry is at fever pitch with excitement as 2 Titans, Essendon and Collingwood, are set to open the final series in what can only be described as a clash for the ages.
Seriously.
With Nate Caddy saluting in the dying moments to send the Bombers' strong crowd into raptures. The rest was history. A historical year for the famous red and black. Okay, yeah, you lost me halfway through that. I read the first line. I thought, teams gelling. That makes a lot of sense. Yep, okay. I didn't quite expect that kind of positivity.
Yeah, no. I do think that I am worried about. I don't think we'll play great footy at the start of the year, and history showed us that we run out of petrol at the end of the year. So,
yeah, probably
concerned.
Yeah, we'll be 10-0, and we'll finish 10-10.
Yep,
10-10.
that's about where. Yeah. Next one.
Robert Whitmore.
Yeah, Robbie.
Seen almost nothing promising in the practice matches. Wow, that's a fall from the last one.
That's
probably on for another frustrating year where we sneak into the 8 and get flogged in the first 5. I don't think frustrating year and sneak into the 8 are quite two things that are going to happen.
If we have a frustrating year, we don't make the 8.
Yeah,
because there's too many other good teams around at the moment. Like if you look at Adelaide, who should have made the 8 last year, they look like they probably will be a bit better. St Kilda definitely look like they're going to be a good team. I don't think we have to play good footy to get there.
Josh has his 19th. Not quite sure what to make of that. 10th, top 4.
Yeah.
Bill thinks top 4 if we have some luck with injuries in the umpires.
Good on you, Bill.
I will say, I know Essendon supporters generally can be
stupid,
optimistic.
Okay, let's go.
Two trains of thoughts there.
Yep.
I've not seen it quite so divided in people and what they think. Generally, it's a very small sample size.
Yep.
Corey, 4th to 7th. Do you want to just make it the whole ladder there? That's a quite.
What do you say? 4th
to 7th. That's just a bit too much of a range for me, if I'm honest. Sorry, Corey.
Could have said 4th to 17th.
Yeah, true. That's 4 out of 18. That's 20% nearly. The ladder covered. Maths wasn't my strong suit. No one fact check that, please. 11th, 16th.
I don't think 16th. That's a bit.
Yeah, it's a bit low. Bottom 6, 10th.
What is it possible? So West Coast will be ordinary. North, I think they'll be a little bit better, but
yeah,
not by a lot. The Suns looked horrible, as I said. I'd be concerned about your Freo. They haven't looked good. Hawthorn will be bad. So I think they're still the bottom 3. Richmond, don't know about them.
Yeah, they're not great. Don't seem.
We
great,
could be the next. We could
great.
be the Geelong. Who knows? Hard to call, but they could finally go backwards. But we could be the next team after that. I wouldn't. Because the Doggies, Sydney, the rest of the teams are looking pretty good.
Yeah, there's about 12 teams that could genuinely make the 8. It's tough. Yeah. Kieran, anywhere between 10th and 13th. Don't think we're ready for finals. That's
Yeah.
fair enough. Next comment, Sherry has its premiers. So,
Going
like I
all the way,
said,
love
it is. I mean, premiers is overstatement. I can understand someone who might think we finished sort of 7th. I can understand someone who says we finished 12th.
Premiers is just what you say, just to keep your momentum up.
Unfortunately, 15th to 18th, Drew. I'd love to know why you think that.
I don't think. Well, again, 15th puts
Complete
us
circus. Sorry.
fourth last. It's possible we could be, but I mean, we had 10 wins last year, didn't we?
Yeah, I think so.
10 wins again this year would put you in a similar spot to last year, I would have thought. So
Yeah.
I don't think we could probably lose more than we would last year, but I don't see us winning many more either. So I think that 10 to 11 wins this year is about where I see us.
That's what I'm
And
hoping for. That really is.
Yeah.
If we win
I
the
just
same,
want to. I just want
we're
to see the
better.
group stay together. I want to see Reed play 22 games, Mackay play 22 games, Watright play 22 games, Parrish. If they play 22 games together, 23, then I think we could be better. But we've just struggled to be able to get our team to stay on the park.
What we should see is a more settled side because Brad Scott, coaching staff, etc., have had their year.
Yep.
Last year was fuck around and find out.
Yeah, we fucked around.
This year is, well, I know what my current players from last year can do. 2, I
Yep.
bought in players that I specifically wanted to help
Yep.
this side.
That
So-
we're required. We needed tall. We needed small.
Yeah, and I don't have any issues with what they picked up, but now it's
Nope.
kind of like, well, we shouldn't see Jake Kelly on the wing. I hope
No.
we don't see Jake Kelly.
I hope we don't see Jake Kelly, and we definitely agree. We shouldn't see him on a wing. Like
Yeah.
if he's on a wing and you've got Dersma still in a team, Martin in the team, and Durham in the team, and Sardis in the team, then you go, well, fuck me, I
Why?
don't know what
Yeah.
we're doing.
Yeah.
And then the same with Heppel. Heppel, unless there's injury, shouldn't be in the back six because there's guys in front of him that are playing better footy than him. And I know that's harsh, but that's the game we have to do. We have to start pushing. Like Guelphy needs to be pushed out of that forward role.
I can
we
understand
need to find guys.
some indecision with the midfield because I think there's a bit of work to do there with the balance. But
like with Hobbs, and we don't,
should
these
know.
Hobbs and Caldwell and these guys. We're not. I'm not sure who's better.
yeah, that's what I mean. So, but we should be a bit more settled.
Yep.
I will ask the question. This is rhetorical. We'll wrap up because we've hit an hour. I will ask the rhetorical question: why do coaches not coach in preseason?
Oh, great question.
I don't.
One of
I
my
can understand.
bugs like
Peter
why?
Wright, you've had a big, we're going to just put you on ice for the second half. That's fine. I don't understand why Brad Scott can't just coach second half. Of the game.
It feels really wanky. It's like, oh no, we're going to give the reserve, the second coach a bit of a go, and he's like walking around going, well, I'm just giving the halftime address, really, because the coach is actually saying, whispering me, could you please get such and such off? Can you please do this to such and such?
It's just bizarre. I don't understand it at all.
They're paid fucking good money. You can coach an
You're a
extra couple of
senior
games in the
coach.
preseason.
Yep. Bizarre. Anyway, on that bombshell, we will wrap. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed our intro. We were very excited that
No, we
that
love
worked,
it. I think it's the best thing
to
ever.
be honest with you. Hopefully the AI vocals is not too robotic because that's tough.
Well, we don't know anyone with a deep voice. If you know anyone there with a deep voice,
we're open to happy
look
with
us
that.
up.
If you want to,
if anyone knows Lockie, is it Lockie?
Hume,
Hume. If anyone knows him and wouldn't mind just saying about 10 words for us, that'd be great.
Not even anyone that sounds like him.
Someone who does mimic. Like
Even if you got like great uncle Morgan Freeman,
who's that?
Morgan Freeman.
Oh,
The
Morgan.
actor?
Oh, as if someone knows Morgan Freeman, the actor.
That was the joke, and you just gave me a blank stare.
Well, when you said it, anyway, move on.
We are excited about that. So, and I'm picky about the editing. So let me know if you'd picked up.
Whereas I think it's great the one is. Well, we won't go into that conversation because that shits me.
High standards, Nathan.
Standards.
We will return. What day do we play? Apologies. We play on a Saturday.
Saturday.
It'll be the Sunday or the Monday for the review podcast. And then we're going to talk about doing match previews again. But
It'll probably have to be on the Monday because I'll be travelling back from Queensland.
Oh, yeah, you're in Queensland. Yeah, fine. Monday night. There you go. ladies and gents, and others. Monday night. All right.
All right, let's wrap this baby up.
Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate your support as always, and go Dons.
Go, mamas.